Hi, I'm just releasing my first blues song, the Financial Bucket Blues. I've drummed to a lot of blues music over the years. Blues was not my favorite genre of music, but it certainly holds an important place in the development of popular music as I grew up. Financial Bucket Blues, as you can expect, is a song about financial problems. I think something we've all experienced at some point in our life. Writing this song made me think of how I first started earning money, and my first thought of that was asking my mom for money to buy something when I was quite young. And she said, well, why don't you go out and earn it? And I asked how, and somehow she hooked me up with Regal cards. You get catalogs of various items, and so I had to go around the neighborhood and hand out these catalogs and come back a week or two later and ask people if they'd like to order anything. I certainly wasn't very successful. But what it did make me think of is what's an easier way to make money, because that seemed pretty hard to me. A year or so later, I ended up getting a Star Weekly paper route in my neighborhood. Star Weekly was a weekly paper, no longer in publication. I had only about 24 customers. So again, I was told to go canvass for new customers to get a larger customer base and make more money. What was great about that was now I had regular money, and it was something I kind of did on a weekly basis, and it wasn't too onerous, and off I went. I got to know the Free Press Paper Boy, which was a 6-day-a-week paper at that time. He delivered the paper to our house. My dad read the paper regularly, and I soon realized, that would be a lot better. Obviously, I'm working 6 days a week, so you're making a little more money. So I told him I'd like to deliver papers, and he was nice enough to let me do papers when he went on holidays for the next couple of years. And then he got to a point where he gave up the paper route. And now I had 75 papers every day for 6 days a week. And that was certainly much more of a time commitment. I was happy to do it. In the summer, on small paper days, I'd put the papers in 2 paper bags, one across each shoulder, and I'd waddle down the street delivering these papers. I got pretty good at folding the paper so that it wouldn't open, leaving it on the step. And I got to the point where I could fold it and stand at the sidewalk in front of the customer's home and throw it and let it land right at his front door. And that saved me from walking up the sidewalk and back again. So one of my customers was an elderly fellow, couple actually, that lived in a home. They had a front porch on their house with an aluminum storm door on the porch. And one day I in the middle of the summer, I threw the paper and accidentally hit the bottom of the storm door. Well, of course it went bang, great big loud sound. What I didn't know was the elderly man was sleeping on his couch inside the porch, and he jumped up very, very startled. I apologized profusely, but thought, geez, he may have had a heart attack from that kind of experience. In Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, in the winter, things are cold. Lots of snow, and so doing papers in the wintertime was a whole different experience. Walking in deep snow is a lot harder, slower. I used a toboggan to carry papers, and it took a lot longer to deliver them, or certainly somewhat longer. I learned the basics of business there, that believe it or not all customers are good customers. I had a customer who was always late in paying me. I went to each customer every 2 weeks to collect for the papers. And this customer would often be behind 2 or 3 pay periods of money that he owed me. Of course, I'd already had to pay the actual free press for those papers, so I was out the money. But one winter evening, I went to their house after supper about 7 o'clock. It's dark at that time. There was no light on in the living room, so I went to the back door. There was a light on, and looking through the back door, I could see someone was cooking dinner, and I knocked on the door. A few seconds later, the light went out, and the voice said, "Nobody home." So I decided that I'd take the financial loss and stop delivering the paper to them. I'm not sure how much money I made in the late 60s, doing papers, but I think it was about $10 a week at that time. It got to the point where I always had some pocket money. I always had money to go to a movie and buy two boxes of popcorn, or buy some new clothes or a new record, or things that teenagers would buy. So as a teenager, I started to get the feeling that having money was good. I liked that feeling, as some of my friends didn't have a way to earn money, and seldom had any to do some of the things I did. So I learned that having an income was pretty important. Soon after, I was drumming in neighborhood bands, which we played at local dances when the drinking age was still 21, I think, at that time. And we played at community clubs on the weekends. This gave the teenagers some place to go and hang out and enjoy music. That also brought in some spending money. More importantly, playing music, it wasn't work, it was fun. That was what I wanted to do. And so after high school, I started playing in bands 6 nights a week. It's what I loved. So I wish you good financial fortune and that all your labors are happy. And take a listen to my song, The Financial Bucket Blues.
My financial bucket is dry. At the end of the month, there's little or nothing to show. Can I get smart with my money before I grow old? You can spend it fast or you can spend it slow. Sooner or later, the money will go. Spent on things I want, spent on things I need. With holes in my financial bucket, I need to plant a new seed. 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 2 is 4. Can I make my money grow faster than before? 4 and 4 is 8, 8 and 8 is 3. Bring me my calculator, would you please? In April I worked hard figuring out my income tax. I was so happy and proud I'd get some money back. Today I get a letter from the CRA. It says I owe another grand. Remit it, please. I got insufficient funds, my credit rating is screwed. I owe my family money, I don't know what to do. Get a second job or call a bank, hold up. The world's going by and I can't keep up. My rent's overdue, my car just broke down. I can't see a way to get across town, to earn the dollars and bring money back home, to feed my family and pay my bills and create a happy home. I've got the financial bucket blues. My financial bucket is dry.